The agenda for today, Friday, 21st November 2025. Quickly, can we also do an introduction of the High Table and our Council? Honorable Abdullah Sise, Chairperson of the Special Select Committee.
Honorable Mali Sise, Vice Chair.
Sorry, thank you, Honorable Chair. My name is Aji Senika, and with me is Mr. Amba.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Keita. Yep. On behalf of the Special Select Committee of the National Assembly, I welcome you to this sitting convening to inquire into the sales and disposal of assets identified by the Commission of Inquiry into the financial activities of public bodies, enterprises, and offices in relation to their dealing with the former President Yahya AJJ Jammeh. You are appearing today in response to a summons duly issued by this committee to provide testimony on matters within your knowledge that are relevant to the subject of our inquiry. Please be reminded that you are appearing under oath and pursuant to the provisions of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. It constitutes contempt of the National Assembly to knowingly withhold, misrepresent, or conceal any information that is relevant to the committee's work. Please be advised that in accordance with parliamentary privilege, any statement or testimony you provide before this committee shall not be used against you in any court of law, except in cases of perjury, where it is proven that you knowingly and deliberately provided false information while under oath. You are therefore expected to cooperate fully and provide truthful, accurate, and complete responses to all questions posed to you, whether by the committee's legal counsel or members of this committee. The committee appreciates your presence and expects your utmost candor and cooperation throughout the proceeding for today. Secretariat will administer the oath, and then I will hand you over to counsel for your testimony today. Secretariat.
So you stand. Yes. You stand up.
I, Seedy Keita, do solemnly, sincerely, and truly affirm that the evidence I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. You are aware that the Special Select Committee of the National Assembly is doing an investigation on the sales and disposal of assets of the former president. The process was conducted by the former Jammeh Commission. I'll hand you over to Counsel for your testimony today. Counsel, yes, we can proceed with the witness.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Welcome to the National Assembly. Kindly state your full name and current designation for the record.
Good morning, Council and honorable members of the committee. My full name is Seedy Keita, currently serving as the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs.
Very well. So I'm going to put some things to you, some statements, and you either confirm or deny. The first one being, did you receive a summons to produce from this committee to produce documents, reports that are relevant to the subject matter of this committee?
Thank you, Council. I received on the 10th of October a summons to produce a set of documents from item 1 to 6. I did. I'm reading from there.
Great.
Yes.
You don't have to read the content. The committee is aware of the content.
Okay.
Did you produce the documents requested?
Well, I told you I was not in country, and I asked my team to communicate that I was not in country. So my team should have communicated to this committee the relevant documents. But when I met with your team of investigators, I did mention that I was surprised that the set of documents were not submitted duly. And prior to appearing this morning, we have the set of documents here as requested.
So you stated you received this the summons to produce on the 10th of October.
Yes.
Today is the 21st of October.
Yes.
More than 5 weeks since you received the summons. And all you had to do was to communicate to your team to tell them to forward the relevant documents requested for in that summons, which you failed to do. Rather, your team wrote to say the minister traveled and that when the minister gets back, that is when we can receive documents. There's a deadline on that summons. If you turn to the, either at the bottom of the first page or the second page, there's a deadline.
There's a deadline.
What is the deadline?
17th of October. I was out of the jurisdiction, but I did instruct my team to do so. So failure to do so was
When did
not
you
brought
get
to my-
back?
Pardon?
When did you get back to the country?
I think I came back around the 22nd
Of?
October.
Okay.
And when I
5
came,
days after the deadline.
yes.
Technical, please advise. Is my mic working? Okay. All right. Sorry for that. So you got back 5 days after the deadline.
Yes.
And then you did not ask questions or try to ensure that the documents requested for by this committee of the National Assembly was submitted
Actually,
as requested.
when I requested my team to act on the letter while I'm away, I thought the needful was done until I had a meeting with the investigators yesterday. Oh, no, this
2
not
days
yet-
ago.
2 days ago, not yesterday, 2 days ago, on Wednesday. So
So-
that's about it. So that's it.
So now I'm thinking you do not hold this committee, or you do not think that this committee's work is important enough for you to confirm with your team when you got back on the 22nd of October whether they have submitted the requested documents or not. And your failure in submitting these documents has obstructed the work of this committee. Because now you have these documents with you where you are sitting, and this committee is not privy to them. More than a month we've requested, and these documents are not submitted. You did not try to find out, but the documents requested by this committee of the National Assembly had been submitted. It does not interest you?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Quite the contrary. When I came back on the 22nd, I had an emergency and nationally pressing issue of concluding the budget that preoccupied all my attention. And this submission of document was deemed a clerical and technical matter, even though the minister was written to. So I couldn't just go back to that. It didn't occur to me that it was not done. But upon noticing, when I met with the team of investigators on Wednesday, yesterday we sort out the documents, and they are here with us.
I don't think you are grasping the seriousness and the gravity of this issue. Your failure to submit within the deadline or even after the deadline. It does not seem like you do.
If I was within the
understand.
jurisdiction.
Wait, please don't interrupt me.
Yeah.
I don't think you're grasping the seriousness of the issue. This is the National Assembly asking the Minister of Finance, like all other ministers that have appeared before this committee, or all other ministers that have been written to by this committee and asked to produce documents. If you need an extension, you request for it and you get it. And now the letter that came after the summons, responding to the summons, we said, okay, that's fine. The minister traveled. When the minister gets back, he will submit the documents requested for. You did not think it was important to ask your team or whoever it is that you had instructed to respond to the summons to see whether they actually did provide the documents submitted? Because the failure to submit is wasting the time of the committee. The committee has a deadline that it's trying to stick to, and your failure to submit these documents, especially for this class of assets that the committee is looking into, is obstructing the work of the committee, because now you have these documents that ordinarily the committee should have read. The legal team and the committee members should have had time to look at these documents. Well, now you bring them here. Now, how do you expect the committee to ask questions or be able to do its work?
Well, I don't think I could put it more directly than telling you I was out of the jurisdiction, and I did instruct my team to respond appropriately. Failure to do so was no fault of mine, and as such is a system. So I don't know how that could be construed as not giving it the weight it deserves.
Honorable Chair, the expectation this committee has for every witness is that whenever a summons is sent, it is adhered to the letter. And where a witness cannot produce what is asked, requested for, or even appear before the committee at the requested time or the scheduled time, then the witness must write to this committee to seek for an extension. If they need clarifications, write to seek for clarifications, or whatever it is that they need in that instance. And like I just said to the Honorable Minister, it seems like the gravity of the issue is something that he cannot grasp or he does not understand. And calling or labeling the request of the committee as a clerical issue is not something I think the committee should take lightly, because other ministers, be it the Minister of Lands, Justice, all other ministers that this committee has written to have provided documents. Not a single minister has told this committee it's a clerical issue. And if you take a look at paragraph 8 of his statement, the minister is telling this committee who it should direct its summons. And when the National Assembly needs information from a minister, it is the minister that from a ministry rather, it is the minister that the National Assembly writes. Whether they were in that position at the time the information being requested for was made by the ministry or not. So I will let the Honorable Chair perhaps come in here and the members of the committee before I can proceed.
Thank you, Council. And before I hand it over to my colleagues, if they have anything to say, Honorable Minister, first of all, I will say this committee is a bit disappointed for the fact that as someone was sent to your ministry, I remember in October, around on the 10th, and I signed the summons myself. And a letter was sent to us that you were out of the jurisdiction. Basically, what the committee wanted from you as a witness was for the ministry to provide information for this committee. And that was not specifically about you, whether you are in or not. Like Council said, you could have assigned your permanent secretary to provide those documents for the committee, or maybe request for an extension to say, yes, let the permanent secretary write to the committee to inform the committee that the minister is outside the jurisdiction. But once he is back, then we will provide the documents. And when you came around 22nd of October, we were expecting that at least the document would be sent to the committee. And that did not happen. So this committee is not taking an exception for anyone that is supposed to provide document within the stipulated time. We expect you as a minister and any other person who is supposed to appear before this committee to be equal. I mean, the treatment that we are going to give to a witness or a citizen is the same treatment we are going to do to the minister if you are supposed to provide and you did not provide on time. Now that you brought these documents, I mean, our investigators would not be able to analyze the document for us to understand and ask questions. That is going to deter our work today. It means we will not be able to proceed with that because there is no information on the table for the committee. All that we know is the Minister of Finance is appearing before us and he has a statement made, I mean, written statement from the investigators to the committee. So meaning our question will not only be on the statement, we need other information to be able to align that with your statement and ask questions. So you fail to provide that, it has a very serious consequence. That is a very serious consequence, and I think we don't want you to be an exception. We have done it to other people, and of course you cannot be. I will hold it here unless if my colleagues have anything to say further before we make a determination to the gravity of what you have done, Honorable Minister. Honorable Member, want to say anything?
Honorable Minister, it would interest me to know who is the head of the ministry.
The head of the ministry in the administrative cadre is the permanent secretary.
It's the permanent secretary.
Yes.
And from who does the permanent secretary take instructions from?
The minister.
In that case, I will assume the minister is above the permanent secretary.
Sure.
All right.
Administrative head, I mean.
Right. Now, that being the case, it is only proper for the committee to request anything we want from the ministry, from you. How you work that out, that's your internal administrative nature. That is why the questions were directed to you. And that is why paragraph 8 of your statement is not accepted by the committee.
I think on that, my understanding is all correspondence is to the ministries are addressed to the permanent secretary. Except unless this is an exception. If you look at all the correspondences I have been receiving in the ministry have been directed to the permanent secretary. And that was my understanding at the time.
Well, then we're now making it very clear to you, this committee does not operate like that. When we need something from the ministry, we request for directive from the minister. And then the minister has his permanent secretaries under him and other technicians. Just like you said, you instructed your team to produce these documents. So that's how we expect it to happen. We'll send it to the minister will use his internal arrangements and ask whoever is responsible to produce the documents. Because we know certain documents are directly taken care of by the PS and other technicians. Just like parliamentary questions, when they are sent, it's sent to the minister. But the answers usually are not really with the minister. He has to consult with the PS and others to bring what the parliament needs. In this case, that is what we expected from you.
Well, given that I was out of the jurisdiction and all the correspondences I've been receiving in the ministry have always been directed to the permanent secretary. And that was why paragraph 8 of my response felt that two factors, the fact that the subject matter is something that I was not around when it took place, and that I believe it has to do with institutional memory, and the custodian of institutional memory is the administrative head, which is the permanent secretary. That is what formed the basis of my response to that paragraph 8. If I was in the jurisdiction, one could understood. But I was out of the jurisdiction and I came in barely few days to work on the national budget. Even as we speak, we are working on that. Even during the meeting with the investigators, the issue of documents, as grave as it has been put, was not put to me by the investigators. So I thought if it was that solemn, the investigators should have requested for the documents. That's what my understanding is.
I guess it is clear to you now that this committee is not holding PS responsible, but the minister responsible. If that is clear,
yes,
I think the best thing for you to do now, but I wouldn't tell you what I wouldn't tell you what you want to say, but I can tell now it's clear to you that now we are holding the minister responsible and not the PS. That's how this committee operates, and that is why you are seated where you are and not the PS.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to add on something, Honorable Minister, you know, the investigators, they don't have power to take any decision. The decision whether the action of the minister is the gravity of your action is a decision for this committee, and it's the committee that should take the decision, not the investigators at all. They are only doing a work and they have taken information. Any decision on the action of the minister should be taken by this committee and any other person who appears before this committee. Whatever you've done, whether it's contempt to the National Assembly, the decision should be taken by the committee because it's a committee that has the power to determine what constitutes contempt as per the law. So just for your information. Honorable Sir, you want to say something?
But I received,
Thank you very much, yeah.
there are subsequent correspondences that I received subsequent to the letter reference. I received a correspondence on the 4th of November, which is a summons and an invitation to appear today, and I'm appearing today. So I received, and this correspondence clearly says that, please note that, I think I just kindly note that the summons supersedes the one sent on the 4th of November. So our interpretation is that the latest correspondence has taken precedent over earlier correspondences.
But
That's what I have before
the
me.
correspondence, the summon in itself, one thing you've not done is to produce documents.
I don't know.
That is the problem. You did not
okay,
produce
noted.
documents. Now, for you to appear, appear before the investigators or the
Okay.
committee,
Mhm.
that has changed. I understand, but the someone to produce was sent to you earlier. For you to produce documents on time, that is what you have not done, and I think that is the problem here. Honorable Sir, you want to say something before?
Yes, thank you very much, yeah. Honorable Minister, my question is, when the letter was sent to your ministry, was the letter minted to you for action?
No, I saw it in the mail folder.
And then you took action over it?
Yes, I saw it in the mail folder, and my comment on the mail folder was, please advise that I'm out on travels.
And that's where it stopped, not for the...
No, in fact, that particular day is the day I left, I think.
Pardon?
That was the day of my departure.
That was the day of your departure.
Yes.
But did you, authorize or ask your people to take action on the letter before your arrival?
Well, like any mail folder, when it is out, the necessary action, in fact, that was my own inquiry. I said, my physical presence does not have to impede the production of documents. Because these documents relate to periods around. Two, the files are there, and they could have been done by the action officer. The correspondent that came here, in my absence, should have produced these documents.
Yeah, I think my concern here is with regards to the letter
yes.
that was sent to you,
Yes.
and it was received by you, minuted for action.
Yes.
So my concern is, after meeting it for action, the action was what? For them to prepare this document for you?
No, my understanding is when a correspondent has come through, and this is for action, it requires that a document to be produced.
Exactly.
The fact that I advise that I'm out of the jurisdiction should not have deterred the production of documents as requested.
But did you tell them to do it in your absence before you arrive, for them to dig those documents for you before you return back?
No. My action expectation was that information I gave availability of my availability. What I was expecting was that the requested documents would be furnished, and the cover letter would say that the minister is out of the jurisdiction, but fine here with the requested documents, which was not done.
But my only concern here, when letters are minted to you,
Yes.
you always meet them for actions.
Yes.
You always meet for actions.
Yes, that's
And you guide them on what they should do, or they are the one responsible for the actions. After meeting them, the rest is in their hands, or it should be directed by you.
No, once you mean it out, normally the administrative structure takes care of the action points as contained in the letter itself. It's not for the minister to take on the actions. The minister will note what course to, like in this particular case that I was out of the jurisdiction, and it asked for 6 points. Those 6 points should have been acted upon to say, please find attached the requested document. Meanwhile, the minister is informing you that he's out of the jurisdiction. That was my understanding. And I was not on site. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, I believe two things are clear. Yes, as I was saying, I think two things are clear, and it cannot be better placed than, I mean, do you place it yourself and the vice chair? And listening to the minister now, and I will take that again. I said it cannot be better placed than you said it together with the vice chairperson. Okay, and then after listening to the minister, I think the conclusion we can draw from it is, even though there are shortfalls coming in from the system, but still, we'll hold him responsible for it. So, to part a way forward and draw a conclusion to it, I would request that the minister apologizes to the committee, for the non-production of these documents, and ensure that tomorrow, even if you minute it to the subordinates to do the rightful action, but let follow-ups be done. Because any other person working under the Ministry of Finance, to the committee is working on the instructions of the minister. And even if the minister is not in town, we believe that operations needs to continue. And if at all those action officers didn't do the needful, the committee wouldn't go after them. Still, the committee would hold the minister responsible. It would have been different if at all he didn't minute on the correspondence to say, do the needful.
Yes.
But since you've initiated action and someone down the line didn't do what needs to be done, you will not hold that individual accountable. You would hold you accountable. But in this case, with consideration. So that is why I would request that the minister apologizes to the committee, and then we move on. But ensure that next time, follow-ups are done to avoid the occurrence of such. Thank you.
Just to continue with what you said, the member have said, I was thinking that apart from the apology, the minister makes an undertaking as to when he can produce the documents as soon as possible.
All right. Thank you so much, Honorables. So, Honorable Minister.
Well, thank you. That's what comes with leadership, responsibility, and I take full responsibility. Even though I was out of the jurisdiction upon my resumption, I was busy with national duty of compiling the budget with the team, but I take full responsibility of the lapse that happened in my absence, and due note is taken, and I apologize on behalf of the ministry. And for the information of the committee, the requested documents are all here, and we are ready for submission. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you so very much. I think that's welcoming. Honorable Council, can we proceed with the testimony? Could the minister provide the document that is submitted with?
Yes.
Yes,
He can
please.
forward them.
Yes, I have it.
So, Honorable Minister, let's continue with your testimony. The second confirmation I want you to do for this committee is, even though you've mentioned it, but just to stick to the order in which the testimony is supposed to be, kindly confirm whether you received an invitation to meet with this committee's panel of investigators.
Yes, I did receive, and I met with them on Wednesday. And I met with them when that schedule collided with the National Assembly appearance, but I still managed to meet them. Thank you.
Okay. You can leave the mic on. It's easier that way.
Okay.
And lastly, you received a summons to appear before this committee today and testify. Is that correct?
Yes.
Good. So as the summons to produce stated, the bulk of your testimony here today will center around the aircrafts that are associated with the former president and owned by the state. I mean, there seems to be lack of clarity on who the aircrafts belong to, whether they belong to the state, the government of the Gambia, or they belonged to the former president. This is what we will talk about, the aircrafts, what the status of these aircrafts are, and where are they now? Have they been sold or have they not been sold? So, before you say that you were not the minister of at the time, we know that you were not the minister of at the time, but records exist and it's the office of continuity. So we expect that whoever holds this position will be able to answer the questions this committee has. How many aircrafts were sold, or in 2016, how many aircrafts did the government of the Gambia or President Jammeh own?
I didn't have any idea about that. And there is no trace of that in our file. What we have in our file is the sale of 2 aircrafts as approved by cabinet and signed by the then minister, Julie.
By the then minister?
Yes.
And who was the minister at the time?
Amadou Sane.
Amadou Sane. So only 2 air tractors, that is what was sold?
Yes. Yes. You look at the document set I have given.
Unfortunately, I cannot look at the document set now.
Oh, okay. I can read out to you. The document was dated 4th of June 2018, addressed to the Managing Director, Gambia Civil Aviation Authority, and it read as follows: request to hand over 2 aircraft to Sanka Jula Holding Company. We are pleased to inform you that Cabinet has endorsed the sale of 2004 aircraft type AT02A bearing serial number 802A 0186 and type AT02A bearing the serial number 802A-0195 to Sanka Jula Holding. Please find attached the letter conveying the said cabinet approval. That's the correspondent on the said matter that is in our file.
Only the sale of the air tractor?
Yes, that's the communication, and a letter was written by Amadou Sane, dated 15th of May, to say we are pleased to convey...
15th of May, which year?
2018.
Okay.
We are pleased to convey approval for the sale of the above aircrafts based on your offer of $240,000 total. Please make payment to the central bank and take possession of the aircrafts. You can liaise with us for bank details. Yours sincerely, Amadou Sane, Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs.
Okay. And which account at CBG were these funds paid into?
There was a letter on the 28th of May. It read as account name. It's Asset Recovery from Janney Commission, account number 16003 4013. BBAN 9011 011 603 401393. Those were the account designated.
And how much was supposed to be paid for these two aircrafts?
$240,000.
$240,000.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was, I think we even have the SWIFT copy. Yes, we received the central bank, based on the file, the central bank advice was received on the 31st of May 2018, which read as credit advice. We have today received the following account transfer instruction, valued date 31st of May 2018 by order of CBG. Payment details received in respect of asset recovery from Jani Commission, BO, Sankajula Holding Company, amount 240,000, reference number, the bank account. And it read, we have credited your account number 1603-000013 as follows. Transfer amount 239,975, the difference being transfer fees of $25. And the attached SWIFT copy, this was in the attached documents. These items are labeled as item 1 in response to the list of documents to produce.
Apart from these two air tractors, are there any other airplanes that were sold by the Ministry of Finance?
Aircraft relating to this transaction?
Any transaction?
Well, this is what we have received in our summons to produce information and documentation related to sale of aircrafts belonging to the state and or former President AJJ Jame. These are the two which had been duly approved by Cabinet, and the Cabinet approval is equally attached. Let's see the Cabinet approval. Okay, the Cabinet approval is dated as follows: 11th of May 2018, addressed to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs, approval of the sale of the two airplanes. Please be informed that
you don't have to read. You don't have to read the contents of the.
Okay, that's right. This is the Cabinet approval. Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Council,
Yes, Honorable.
can I suggest?
Yes.
I think it's proper for this committee to stand down for at least 10-15 minutes, and Secretary can help us to photocopy those documents for committee members to have.
Yes.
Okay.
Then we can proceed, please.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Aisha.
Yeah, so meeting adjourned for at least 10 minutes. We can stand down for 10-15 minutes and then we'll come back.
GCA wa maybe AMS dama suma office indil GIA send document wa indi ko let me see ma set setalen ndax civil aviation foofu la bàyyi send document wa indil GIA send document